During a battlefield rest, a soldier spotted a glimmer of light in the empty field across from him. Alert and cautious, he walked over to investigate. When he picked it up, he discovered it was just a photograph of a beautiful girl. Thinking it might have been accidentally dropped by a fellow soldier, he casually slipped the photo into his pocket. The very next second, a shell landed with pinpoint accuracy exactly where he had just been standing. The massive impact knocked him unconscious instantly. When Logan regained consciousness, he was told that all three of his comrades had perished. He was the sole survivor.
The corpsman found this in your salt pouch. I saw you pick it up. Looks like it saved you.
It was that same photograph, with "Keep Safe" written on the back. His fellow soldiers believed Logan had a guardian angel watching over him, but the photo didn't belong to Logan. On the battlefield, blessings from family were especially precious. So Logan decided to return it to its rightful owner, though he had absolutely no clues to go on. 8 whole months passed, and the photograph remained with Logan. His comrades were convinced that Logan would eventually meet the girl in the photo, and when that day came, he'd have to thank her in person. Without this lucky charm, he would have died on the battlefield long ago. Logan owed her his life. Little did they know his comrades' words would prove prophetic. The next second, another shell came flying in. At such close range, Logan miraculously survived once again. Of all the soldiers who had served together, only Logan made it home safely. Perhaps the photograph truly possessed some kind of magic. The peaceful small town was far removed from the carnage of war. But this didn't help Logan return to a normal life. He suffered from severe post-traumatic stress disorder. Any sound resembling gunfire or sudden loud noises would make Logan instantly tense up. His sister had to send the children outside to play. The next day, 2 defiant nephews came to wake Logan up. They had planned to pull some pranks on him, but the startled Logan leaped up and grabbed his nephew by the throat. His sister walked in on this scene, leaving both parties speechless. Logan couldn't understand why he was the only one who survived when so many others had died. It seemed like fate had intervened. Logan pulled out the photograph once more and discovered the lighthouse was located in Louisiana. He said goodbye to his sister and decided to set out to find where he belonged. Man and dog embarked on this spontaneous journey together. During the trip, Logan didn't use any transportation. From dawn to dusk, he chose to walk the entire way. When hungry, he'd build a fire and cook. When tired, he'd rest against Zeus. The long trek gradually helped Logan adjust to peaceful life, and his PTSD eventually disappeared completely. After what felt like forever, Logan finally spotted the white lighthouse. He continued showing the photograph around, asking questions. Finally, at a local bar, he learned the woman's name was Beth, and she ran a pet hotel just outside of town. Logan rushed over without delay. Beth, emerging from the sunlight, was even more beautiful and captivating than in the photograph, leaving Logan completely speechless. But every time he tried to speak, he was interrupted by phone calls. Beth's pet hotel was incredibly busy, and with employees having recently quit, even Beth's elderly grandmother had to pitch in. Seeing no opportunity to get a word in, Logan decided to pull out the photograph to explain his purpose. Instead, he accidentally grabbed an advertising flyer first, making Beth think Logan was there to apply for a job. She immediately handed him an application form. But when Logan mentioned he was a retired Marine who had walked 1,500 kilometers to get there, Beth hesitated. She figured the guy in front of her must be crazy, because no soldier would travel thousands of miles just to clean up dog poop. So she asked her grandmother to send Logan away. Logan explained that his previous work had been filled with violence, and now he just wanted a peaceful life. Plus, he had extensive experience training dogs. Eventually, grandmother hired Logan, and he rented an old house nearby. He planned to stay and work first, then reveal the truth when the time was right, because he didn't know how to explain the photograph's magic on the battlefield. Maybe it was all just his imagination, or wishful thinking. Thanks to his previous experience and Logan's hard work ethic, he completed a full day's work in very little time. With nothing else to do, he fixed the dog kennel's roof beams and a long-abandoned tractor. He also cleared all the junk from the yard. Grandmother immediately took a liking to this young man. Beth's son Ben was equally interested in him. Being shy, Ben always practiced violin alone, but every time Logan caught him playing, he'd offer generous praise. This gave Ben incredible confidence. Logan also played piano, and their relationship quickly grew closer. Only Beth remained lukewarm toward Logan, because she noticed he always liked to stare directly at her. This kind of gaze made her uncomfortable. Little did she know that every time Logan saw her, his war-torn soul found peace. One day, a police car suddenly pulled into the yard, followed by a man who swaggered inside. The moment he saw Logan, he looked extremely surprised, and immediately pushed him aside to check his ID. It turned out the man was Beth's ex-husband. He was a notorious bully of a police officer, and with his father being a high-ranking judge in Louisiana, he wielded considerable power and influence. After the divorce, the ex-husband lived it up, while continuing to torment Beth. He used Ben's custody as leverage, keeping Beth trapped in this small town. Whenever there were events, he'd bring Beth along to satisfy his twisted need for control. Beth wanted to fight back but felt helpless. She was afraid of losing Ben, so naturally she didn't dare get involved with other men. But that evening at dinner, Ben ignored Beth's attempts to stop him, and invited Logan to stay for dinner. After the meal, they played chess together, and then Ben performed magic tricks for Logan. This left Beth amazed, because Ben had always been timid and shy around strangers, yet tonight he was so lively and outgoing. She gradually began to warm up to Logan too. As Logan was leaving, he stammered, trying to bring up the photograph, but didn't know how to start. After all, it sounded like a fairy tale no matter how you told it.
It's all right. Another time, maybe. After all, I'm not going anywhere. Good night, Logan.
But the next day, everything changed. It was the anniversary of Beth's brother's death. Usually calm and gentle, Beth came home and suddenly erupted in rage. She frantically destroyed the flowers and plants she normally cared for so tenderly with scissors, and even tried to push down the fence. Seeing this, Logan immediately rushed forward and held Beth in his arms. Beth sobbed helplessly. It turned out Beth's brother had also served in the Marines, but he'd been killed in action a year ago. However, his superiors provided no explanation for his death, and the investigation had been dragging on with no progress. Some even said her brother had been killed by friendly fire. Her brother's death was senseless and meaningless, which Beth simply couldn't accept. She loved her brother dearly. The scene of them hiding storybooks in wall cracks seemed to play out before her eyes like it was yesterday. Thinking of this, Beth finally smiled again.
You got a great laugh, you know that? I wish I could hear it more.
Why didn't you try telling me a joke?
Because you're gonna have to get a few beers in me before I start telling you jokes.
Okay.
After that, Logan became completely integrated into Beth's family. The dog kennel was managed perfectly. Logan and Ben's relationship grew stronger and stronger. They seemed like a real family, filled with laughter every day. In a daze, Beth even had the illusion that Logan was Ben's real father. But soon Beth was pulled back to reality, because the ex-husband had an event where his superiors needed him to bring his son, so he took Ben away without a word. But when they returned, Ben had been hit by a baseball, and his nose was bleeding profusely. When Beth tried to ask what happened, the ex-husband acted impatient and turned to leave. Beth chased after him to complain.
Hey, a second. Hey, who do you think you're talking to, huh?
Keith, calm down.
No, you calm down. Now, let me tell you something. That's my son in there, too, you know. And I can take that boy anytime I want. You got that?
Let go of my arm. Let go of my arm.
What's the matter?
You should do what she says. Let go of her arm.
But then Logan appeared and diffused the situation for Beth, while also establishing a grudge with Beth's ex-husband. Logan then went inside, and Beth immediately started explaining non-stop. She wanted to make herself look less pathetic.
Just want to make sure you're okay.
Instantly, a warm feeling swept through Beth's entire body, a sensation she hadn't experienced in a long time. Seeing Logan about to leave, Beth could no longer suppress her emotions, and rushed outside to call him back.
Hey! When are we gonna get those beers?
I won't forget.
That evening, Beth dressed up carefully. Grandmother smiled knowingly, seeing everything. Perhaps because she hadn't been on a date in so long, Beth seemed even more nervous than Logan. They went to the dock, where Beth told Logan that her parents had died when she was very young. So besides grandmother, her brother was her most beloved family member. Her brother's death had been devastating for the whole family. Back then, they loved playing on this little boat the most. Unfortunately, the boat was now too old and broken to operate. Beth had always wanted to take Ben out to sea once. Logan silently took note of this. As they confided in each other, their feelings rapidly intensified. But just as they finally kissed, a police car actually followed them to this remote location. It was obviously one of the twisted ex-husband's subordinates. This was a warning. The ex-husband didn't want them to be happy. But Beth had already fallen in love. She often stared at Logan in a daze. Grandmother also expressed her full support. She didn't want her granddaughter to remain under someone else's control forever. It was time for her to find her new life. But at Ben's 8th birthday party, watching Logan so close to his son, the ex-husband couldn't stand it anymore. He came to the kitchen and issued a stern warning. If Logan wasn't sent away, he would take Ben directly. In court, everyone would side with him. Beth was terrified. To keep Ben, she had no choice but to give Logan his walking papers.
You don't know what I'm dealing with.
I do know that you deserve better than this.
On the way back, the ex-husband couldn't resist following Logan, constantly whistling and mocking him. His smug attitude was absolutely disgusting, but Logan still ignored him.
Hey, you ought to listen to me. You don't know who you're dealing with.
No, I know exactly who I'm dealing with. I've known guys like you my whole life.
You think a gun and a badge and a name make you something because you carry
You
them.
better watch your mouth.
I'm done talking to you.
That night, grandmother asked Beth if she planned to be threatened by her ex-husband for the rest of her life. Sacrificing everything for your child isn't selfless. It's absurd. Beth had no response. For herself and for her son, she decided to be brave for once. Early the next morning, Beth brought Ben to the ex-husband's house. The ex-husband was still joking about how to spend the evening.
You know what, Kate? That's not gonna work anymore. I figured it out. You don't want full custody any more than I want you to have it. You can try and take him, but I will fight you. I will fight you and your family's lawyers. I am a damn good mother.
But then Beth showed unprecedented firmness and exposed her ex-husband's true nature. He really didn't want to raise the child. He just wanted to use Ben to control Beth. Finally free from constraints, Beth threw herself into Logan's arms. But she didn't know the twisted ex-husband had been following them, spending the entire night outside the house, listening to their sounds. Learning Logan's address, terrible plans began brewing in the ex-husband's mind. With Logan's companionship, Ben's musical skills improved dramatically. He even performed a piece for everyone at church. Ben not only received unanimous praise from everyone, but his peers also looked at him with new respect. Beth was almost moved to tears on the spot. Seeing this scene, the ex-husband burned with rage. Just then, a friend told him that back at the bar, some guy had been showing Beth's photo around asking questions. That guy was Logan. Instantly the ex-husband hatched a plan. When Logan returned home, he found his door had been broken into, and Beth's photograph was missing from his table. Meanwhile, the ex-husband took the photo to Beth and began his manipulation. Why would the photo Beth gave her brother end up with Logan? Plus her brother had been killed by friendly fire. Logan had no friends, no relatives. He just suddenly appeared with the photo looking for Beth. Who would be so good to someone for no reason? It was hard not to suspect Logan's motives. He might be the killer who murdered her brother, coming here specifically to atone for his sins. The ex-husband's manipulation worked. When Logan arrived, Beth was confrontational and aggressive. Logan had no choice but to tell that unbelievable, fairy tale-like story about the photograph on the battlefield.
I promised myself that if I made it out, I would find that girl and thank her for saving my life when others weren't so lucky. But I couldn't find the words. How do you explain something that you can't even understand yourself?
But Beth still couldn't forgive Logan right away. She believed this photograph should have protected her brother. Neither said much more. Then Ben stopped Logan and gave him his favorite book.
Take care of your mom, right?
I thought I was the guy next to you.
Logan had always worn the dog tags of himself and his deceased buddy around his neck. Now he gave his own tag to Ben, hoping it would bring him good luck always. The next day, Beth went alone to the dock to clear her head, but discovered Logan had already fixed the little boat. While marveling at this, she didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, the ex-husband was drunk and happened to run into Logan on the street. He immediately approached with provocation, even pulling out a weapon.
Easy. Stay back. Man, easy.
But this was no challenge for the well-trained Logan. He quickly disarmed the gun and dismantled it, preventing a scene. The ex-husband, who had never been humiliated like this, couldn't take it anymore. After meeting with his father, he left behind his police badge. His father sensed something terrible was about to happen. Outside, rain poured down relentlessly. Grandmother and Beth argued at home. Grandmother believed Logan finding the photograph was destiny, something that couldn't be changed.
So, you're saying Drake died so that Logan could live? No, honey.
Well, sweetheart, it's not Logan's fault that he survived.
At that moment, Logan was packing at home when he unexpectedly found a photo of the brother in Ben's book. He immediately recognized the man in the photo as the sergeant from that night. Beth's brother had died saving his comrades. He was a true hero. Logan decided to tell Beth the truth before leaving. Meanwhile, the ex-husband braved the storm to reach Beth. Seeing Logan wasn't there, he began begging Beth to get back together, but Beth absolutely refused. The ex-husband instantly turned nasty, shouting that he would take Ben away. Ben immediately ran outside, with the ex-husband and Beth chasing after him. Though Logan didn't know what was happening, he could tell from grandmother's eyes that he should follow. In his panic, Ben ran onto a wooden bridge, but the torrential rain caused the bridge's ropes to snap. Although the ex-husband grabbed one end tightly, Ben was still falling. Suddenly the tree supporting the bridge collapsed, crushing the ex-husband's leg. The icy river water combined with the impact left the ex-husband feeling like death, but he still endured the excruciating pain and swam to Ben despite the danger. When Logan finally arrived, the ex-husband's leg was cramping, so he told Logan to save Ben first and then come back for him. But before Logan could turn back, the small wooden house above the ex-husband came crashing down, burying everything in the river. Though the ex-husband's motives were impure, he ultimately gave everything he had. There's never absolute right and wrong in this world. Afterward, Logan told Beth the truth about her brother, then left. He planned to leave this place and continue his journey. At the end of the story, under a romantic golden sunset, Beth called out to Logan after all. Some say the movie's plot is cliched, but sometimes you have to admit the power of fate and destiny. Is there something or someone that, when you encounter them, quietly changes everything?
You know, the smallest thing can change your life. In the blink of an eye, something happens by chance when you least expect it. It sets you on a course that you never planned, into a future you never imagined. Where will it take you? That's the journey of our lives.